Greetings and felicitations, YouTube. I have some more replays for you, because that's what I've been up to. I thought I was going to be participating in a tournament this weekend, and there's specific tournament rules where that you had to pick one faction and play it through the whole thing. And I decided I was going to go a little thematic. I decided, you know what? I'm going to go Norsca. If I'm going to be Jarl, I should be Norscan. And I did a lot of practice. I did plenty of prep work, and I'm of course only going to show you my victories. Because I want to show you what I got myself up to. I played a lot of games against Wicked, against the Colonel. I did several quick battles with them, and I wanted to show you where I ended up. I wanted to show you the end of that journey to give you an idea of what I was looking at. So here's an engagement from yesterday where I wrecked some beastmen as Norsca. Now, in this fight, I went ahead and I brought Throg. I pretty much was working with a variation on this army, but I brought 2 Marauders, 4 Marauder Berserkers, the thought here being that, you know, Norscan infantry is going to be just good enough to beat Gore Herds, and they brought plenty of Gore Herds, all right. Plenty of Gore Herds indeed. I also brought a upgraded Marauder Spearman, 2 Marauder Horse Masters, 2 Chaos Warhounds, 2 Armored Skin Wolves with 1 XP chevron each, and the Regiment of Renowned Armored Skin Wolf. The idea being here is like, okay, I'm going to need to deal some anti-large. I want to be pretty quick about it, and my Marauder Berserkers are going to be able to do plenty of damage against Gore Herds, especially Gore Herds with shields. My Marauders in the center just to tie down other infantry, Throg to back them up, and the Marauder Spearmen behind just to protect Throg from any rear charges from anti-large units. I did have, like I said, this wolf pack with the Maws of Savagery, and flanked on either end by Norscan Warhounds. They were designed just to tie down any skirmishers or suicide charges into Centaurs with great weapons, as I did have 2 Marauder Horsemasters over here. And their job, having their javelins, they were pretty much just a pick I had chosen to try and deal with enemy skirmishers or maybe a Cygor. Just doing everything I can in those avenues. So I see this army here. I'm going to go ahead and start pushing off this way. He sees my Horsemasters, and he's going to go straight for them with his Centaurs with great weapons and his Centaurs. I didn't even give you a chance to see what their army was. 2 units of Centaurs already on the assault with great weapons. 1 base Centaur. Minotaurs with great weapons. 2 units. A Kazrak, the One-Eye on his chariot. 2 Ungor Raiders. 4 Gore Herd with shield, and 3 Gore Herd off on a far flank. And right off the bat, the battle gets engaged. I charge in my Norscan Warhounds to eat their charge, and they actually decide, okay, well, we're going to push off of that, as I'm starting to push my infantry over, and I realize, okay, well, you know what, my infantry aren't going to be needed over here, so I pick my targets with this engagement. I'm getting Throg into position. I'm going to go ahead and countercharge. Throg gets a puke in. I'm going to just pull in both of these Marauders against that 1 Gore Herd. I'm going to start working these Marauder Berserkers towards a flank. Maybe even try and push off those units. I've pulled the Spears over here, and I've also moved around the Skin Wolves to this side. My Horsemasters in a safe position. Norscan Warhounds are okay. Throg's going to go ahead and charge on in. He's getting his Gore Herds over here, and he's going to start opening fire with his Ungor Raider onto Throg. Kazrak the One-Eye has been mismicroed because he's just got so much going on. He puts his guys into column formation and shoots this gap, which is beautiful, and then comes straight into the back end of my Marauder Berserkers. It was a lovely attack, but I see these Minotaurs coming in, and I'm going to countercharge them with my Skin Wolves, even though he has some Gore Herd out here. Skin Wolves versus Minotaurs with great weapons. Unfortunately for the Minotaurs with great weapons, I outnumber him. I even go ahead and I'm going to send this Skin Wolf in just to disrupt this Gore Herd and give me free reign against these Minotaurs with great weapons. And what a battle. Ever wanted to watch werewolves fight Minotaurs? Here you go. Done. 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 So these Minotaurs are great weapons, and 2 Senegors get a huge piece of Throg, which is bad for me. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to charge in my Skin Wolf pack into this, and look at that, the Senegor is just gone. They're done with it already. And in the back, I've pulled up my Marauder Horsemasters, and I'm making short work of their Senegors. I'm pushing them off with more of my infantry, and their Gore Herd just melted against my Marauder Berserkers. And sure enough, you can see, like, there's one Gore Herd out here that's still holding still, but Gazrak's out here eating a Spearman, and these Horsemasters are going to go ahead and just put some javelins into him. Just going to charge in with these regrouped Gore Herds with shields, and yeah, I've got my Norscan Warhounds regrouping. I think I had my other one join in to fight somewhere. Oh, I decided just to go ahead and try to chase off these Senegors, and it worked. The Gore Herd finished their wheel around the flank, but they were too slow for my kind of rushy Norscan fast-moving army. And I've got Kazrak out here just whim to my desires with these Marauder Horsemasters. My wolf pack has done a fantastic job in wrapping up these engagements. Throg has survived. He's chasing around this Gore Herd, and I put in this Norscan Warhound to stop him. Throg's going to win that engagement handily, and he's gonna push his Minotaurs with great weapons back into this. I get a Marauder Berserker into his Centaurs that have regrouped. Actually, it was more a matter of I was trying to chase off these raiders with a Marauder Berserker, so he countercharges them with what's left of his Senegors, but everything's just taken so much damage that everything's now falling apart for their faction. He did get Kazrak into one of my units of Marauder Horsemasters, but Marauder Horsemasters, they're no slouches. They really are not. 50 armor, 15... Well, that's not the base leader show. Obviously, 90 speed, 26 melee attack and melee defense, 24 weapon strength, and a 30 charge bonus. Obviously, Kazrak's better, but you know what? We held out very well. And the javelins are going to continue to rain down from the other unit. My Skin Wolf pack has found their next target, and that's going to be Mr. Kazrak himself. I've gotten more Berserkers into more of his units. He charges into the back end of my Spearmen as I try chasing off this Gore Herd, but there they go. The Wolf Pack has found Kazrak, and there's not much left to this fight. Kazrak whipping that one guy off of him, that one Skin Wolf off of him, but that's it. There you go. Pyrrhic victory. That was more a matter of just overwhelming the opponent and having better micro, and I was very proud of myself for having better micro. Let's look at the end card result. I greatly enjoyed that battle. 99 kills for Throg, even though he was in a very tough spot at one point. And look at this unit of Marauder Berserkers. 126 kills. 9 and 11 kills on the Horsemasters. 43, 48, and 39 kills with my Skin Wolf pack. 5 and 20 kills with my Norscan Warhounds. Really enjoyed that. Their Gore Herd did get kills against my infantry, but it just wasn't enough. Neither was it for their unshielded Gore Herd, their raiders. Actually, not a bad pick for Norscan. Usually very light armored, especially my Marauder Berserkers. But those Ungore raiders, too few of them picked to make a difference, and his large units handily taken care of by the Skin Wolf pack and by hit and run attacks with my Norscan Warhounds and Marauder Horsemasters. It was a lot of fun. So let me show you another one. This one I had earlier today as I was preparing for a tournament that I thought I was going to be able to participate in, but I did not. This was me against Bretonia, and I took some advice from the Heir of Carthage Discord, and instead of going Skin Wolves, I went for Mere Warriors with great weapons and the Miststalkers. So I did 3 units total, if you include the Miststalkers as a Premier Warrior with great weapons. 2 Norscan Ice Wolves, because I figured, okay, well, if they bring cavalry, because they're Bretonia and they're gonna, those Ice Wolves have the Frostbite effect, which removes I believe 16 to 26% of their speed. And I went 2 units of Marauder Berserkers, 3 units of standard Marauders, 2 Marauder Spearmen to help support the flanks, a Famir Balefiend to fire with Burning Head and... what else did I give that Balefiend? Let's see here, Fireball, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and Burning Head. And then I brought Wulfric the Wanderer, and I had enough, I wasn't planning to, I had enough funds at the end to get him on a horse, so I was like, alright, well I gotta spend these points somewhere, so I'm going to put it there. And just go ahead and take a moment to look at my deployment. I have my line of infantry here. I'm thinking, my Marauders are going to be more than a match for Bretonnian infantry, especially with Marauder Berserkers. I put the Miststalkers right here. Remember, they have stalk, so this unit actually is not seen by the Bretonnian player. The Bretonnian player does see I have 2 Norsca Ice Wolves, which have, that as before mentioned, the Frostbite effect of minus 36% speed. I've got Spearmen on either flank of my Marauders. I've got my 2 heroes here, including Wulfric. As mentioned, Wulfric does have his Winterfang with him and all of his other abilities and weapons. And then I've deployed my 2 Famir Warriors with great weapons on this flank. Now, let's look at the Bretonnian player. They brought 2 men-at-arms with polearms, 3 men-at-arms with shields, 2 foot squires, and 3 peasant bowmen with pox arrows, as well as a Fey Enchantress, a questing knight, and a Grail Knight for both flanks. Questing Knight, Grail Knight. Now, the Grail Knight is an elite shock cavalry unit. There isn't much that these guys can't do when it comes to Warhammer Total War. The only thing they can't do is fly. They're anti-large, they are magical damage, they can get the job done. Now, you gotta watch how this goes. So I go ahead and I start pushing up all of my forces all the way down the line, moving on and up, and actually, so is my opponent. He's going to scooch forward towards this hill once he sees that I've decided I'm going to charge. He wants to go ahead, and especially on this flank, this looks wide open. Oh man, look at these. These Norscan Ice Wolves. That's an easy 1,300 points for me to pick up on you. So I see him coming, I slow down, and they're not affected by the frostbite yet, but they will be soon. And any second now, they're going to see these Miststalkers out here to get them. And I move the Spearmen out to get here as well. Now they see the Miststalkers. He's going to go ahead and charge in with his Questing Knights, and I go ahead and I'm going to do a quick counter charge with the Norscan Ice Wolves into this Grail Knight just to hold it there as I pull my other Norscan Ice Wolf into this Questing Knight, and boom! Look at their health evaporate. My Spearmen trying to get into position, and just like that, my Norscan Ice Wolves are on this side are done. So the infantry battle is engaged. They've poxed up all of my Marauders, but I'm still pretty confident I'm going to win these engagements. I'm picking out their men-at-arms in particular, but they do charge in their foot squires. I go ahead and I'm going to stop this men-at-arms with polearms from supporting their Grail Knights by getting my Marauder Berserker into it. Look at that. Questing Knights, done. My Spearmen start to chase off their Grail Knight, but that Questing Knight is gone. And they just tried putting off a healing spell on him too. Meanwhile, on the other end of things, my 2 units of Famir Warriors with great weapons got the Grail Knight and are bringing that down. He does get his Questing Knights around into the flank and into my Marauders, which is good for him. But if already... Ooh, here comes my Winterfang attack right down the line. Definitely did some damage to my own guys, but I think it's worth it. I didn't do enough to that Foot Squire, but I follow it up right away with a Burning Head upgraded. And that is going to be all she wrote for the majority of the Bretonnian infantry. And then the Burning Head banks and gets right in here with the Fey Enchantress and her support. And I've got the Miststalkers in here now, the Norscan Ice Wolves, Wulfric's activated the Sword of Torgold, Foe Seeker, and I've also hit her with the Hunter of Champions. So she's now in a lot of trouble. My Marauder Berserkers have started to outflank. That Grail Knight is now completely done. This Grail Knight is deeply regretting its life choices, and I think the writing's on the wall at this stage. This questing knight is mostly untouched. My Famir Bale Fiend of Fire is going to go ahead and start supporting this attack against the Fey Enchantress, but the Fey Enchantress is no match for Wulfric the Wanderer once he's got the Sword of Torvald and the anti-champions spell that he brings. So I get my Miststalkers into this Grail Knight, and look at them just evaporate. They're just done. My Marauder Berserkers in the distance pushing off their Pox arrows. Not all of them, however, as this unit's still here. I try to get Wulfric out there to chase down the Fey Enchantress. I'm like, get back here. I'm not done killing you yet, lady. There you go. Miststalkers do fantastic against Grail Knights, folks. Fantastic, especially if you can get a little bit of Frostbite in there. I go ahead and I pull off a boat attack from Winterfang that even gets a piece of these Men-at-Arms and Foot Squires. I've got these two almost completely healthy Premier Warriors. They're going to go ahead and push straight on through. And let's see here. That's it. There goes the chain route. They're all done. I was very happy with the way that battle went. Very happy indeed. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Over here, so Wulfric the Wanderer with his wonderful longship, 72 kills, 38 kills for the follow-up from the Famir Bale Fiend of Fire. Marauders did their job. They did their job very well, very effectively. That one even getting 11 kills against cavalry. 136 for that Marauder Berserker. Let me tell you, if you can get Berserkers into the right units, they'll just chew them up. I love it. And they're only a 750-point unit, too. You want to use them the same way if you're a Chaos player in general, the same way you would use like the Forsaken. Forsaken's like a 900-point unit, but ultimately does the same thing. It goes fast and it hits hard. And oftentimes, when you're playing as Norsca, your opponent's focus should be split in several different positions, and they'll lose sight of one of your Berserkers, and your Berserkers will get a hold of something big. Norscan Ice is doing their job of just slowing down and giving frostbite to the enemy cavalry long enough for the Famir Warriors with great weapons and the Miststalkers to get their jobs. 65 kills on the Miststalkers, 26 and 9 on these two Famir Warriors with great weapons. One of their Grail Knights did a pretty good job, though. 81 kills, but you don't want Grail Knights to do anti-infantry work, and I didn't give his Grail Knights anything to do but anti-infantry work. Sure, he killed some Norscan Ice Wolves, but the Norscan Ice Wolves did what they were supposed to do. This unit, 2 kills. I'm telling you now, if you're ever playing as Bretonnia and you spend that money on a Grail Knight only to get 2 kills, you've lost. That is an unfortunate turn for that unit. 91 kills on this questing knight, doing what it should be doing, which is anti-infantry work. 41 kills on this Foot Squire, 37 here. Peasant Bowman with Pox arrows. Unfortunately, targeting the wrong units, weren't able to get very many kills. And Fey Enchantress not allowed to stick around long enough to do her long-term damage with the Mist of the Lady. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed those 2 replays. That was some of the most competitive I've been able to get in a long time. I'm usually not trying to be competitive, but those were some fun battles for me, and I hope you enjoyed them. Have a great evening.